A recent survey finds American voters are equally divided on the debate over the FBI battle with Apple to open a terrorist iPhone. So does Congress have a role in this?
Plus, a big push and pull over protected land and a recreation area in our local mountains. Joining us this morning, Congressman Adam Schiff, ranking member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with
Appreciate
you
you coming in. Let's go ahead and start with the FBI versus Apple, that debate, which has been really raging in this country. Like we said in the beginning, people are really split on this. A federal judge has ruled that Apple does not have to comply to the FBI request to open the iPhone. But does Congress have a role in this, and what could it do?
Well, we absolutely have a role, and interestingly, there are cases in New York, a drug case, and then, of course, we have the terrorism case in San Bernardino, and the magistrates there ruled in two different directions. This will initially get resolved in the courts. I think actually the FBI has a very strong case legally under an act called the All Writs Act to compel Apple to assist in these two cases. But Apple's right that the issue is broader than that. Congress is going to have to address this. It has repercussions not only here in not just these two cases, but literally thousands of cases ultimately, but also has implications around the world. Other countries are also contemplating whether they should require decryption or access to devices, as in these cases. France is taking up a bill that might require that. And what would I think be ideal, if it's possible, is to get the law enforcement community, the technology sector, privacy advocates, to reach some kind of a compromise, some agreement, and something that we can support not only here at home that balances security and privacy, but also hold up around the world, because these issues are really global in nature.
As ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, how difficult is your job given encryption?
It's very difficult, and there are two different features to the whole encryption debate. One is what's called data at rest, and that's the locked phone. This is a big issue for law enforcement. It is for the intelligence community too, but as we can see in these criminal cases, they seize these phones, they can't get into them. The phone may have far more evidence than anything else. It's an issue for the intelligence community when the intelligence community, for example, overseas intercepts communications in transit, and they're encrypted and you can't break the encryption. That's a new kind of going dark problem in both law enforcement and intelligence worlds, and it really poses severe challenges in terms of being able to prevent terrorist attacks.
Because just so people understand, in the past you could say, well, there is chatter between various folks that we believe are terrorists, and part of that was picked up through the electronic communications. Now we don't have access to that.
Exactly, and in fact, you look at these terrorist groups like and they have online manuals where they will instruct their people, use this app, use this platform. They can't decrypt that. So they have now very good operational security. It poses real constraints. Yeah. I will say this, though, encryption has a lot of benefits. We see how, we're constantly getting hacked, and large companies getting hacked, the government's getting hacked. So being able to encrypt data also has great benefits. And the question is, how do we balance the great benefits? How do we retain those benefits from encryption, but at the same time not go blind to those that are plotting against us?
Right. We also want to talk to you about a town hall meeting that you co-hosted last night to discuss the expansion and preservation of the Rim of the Valley corridor. What is at issue for homeowners and the conservationists when it comes to expanding the boundaries of the Santa Monica Mountain National Recreation Area?
Well, this is a process that began more than a decade ago with a bill I introduced to study expanding the Santa Monica Mountains Recreation Area, and it took many years to get it passed and then the study be undertaken. But the Park Service has now recommended doubling the size of the Santa Monica Mountains Recreation Area to include an area called the Rim of the Valley, which is the mountain ranges around Los Angeles. So it would be nuts. Since the 70s have we seen a massive expansion of a park like this. It's a big issue. Tonight we're having another town hall at Oak Park High School at 7 o'clock where people can weigh in. But what it means is an effort to preserve wildlife corridors, so we continue to have mountain lions and bears and coyotes and other great wildlife in our region, preserve some of the most rare ecosystems in the world, preserve recreational opportunities in our area. I think there's a real desire to see that maintained and not disappear. And this would give the Park Service a chance to acquire land from willing sellers. There's no eminent domain here, but to encourage the sale of land, but also trail maintenance, habitat restoration. So it could be very big in terms of preservation of open space.
Today we begin the official farewell to Nancy Reagan, former First Lady. Just your thoughts as someone, a fellow public servant.
This is somebody who was, I think, very well respected and admired as First Lady, not without controversy, but very well thought of. And her stature, I think, only grew after her husband's presidency. She's probably best known for the Just Say No to Drugs campaign, but also, I think, earned a lot of very bipartisan admiration for the courageous stance she took on stem cell research. She, as she put it, said a long goodbye to her husband. Didn't want to see other families go through the trauma of Alzheimer's, and has really been a champion for the kind of medical research necessary to attack that disease. So very fondly thought of and respected, and a stature that only grew throughout her life.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Congressman Adam Schiff, for coming in this morning. Appreciate it.